Alright everyone, welcome back to the Somnium files. Last we left off, we went into Iris's Somnium and found out some very strange stuff. Apparently she had witnessed the original Cyclops killings, and we were in there as well. So I'm guessing that Date was the original killer, or at least related to it. But anyway, now we're back at Marble, and Oda's waiting here for us. See, he got a new phone. I guess he was texting Iris during her interrogation. So let's look around here first. Sofa. Table in front of the sofa. Stool. A flyer. Poster on the wall. Hanger. There's no specials written on the blackboard. I'm probably not going to read like every tiny thing here that doesn't actually mean anything. Okay, I think that's pretty much everything here. Let's talk to Oda. Isn't your phone broken?
No, this is my new one.
Of course.
You're thinking of the one I dropped in that puddle.
Where's Mama?
Oh, she left a little while ago. She said something about going to help an acquaintance. She told me to watch the place until she got back.
How well do you know Mama?
Not at all. It's my first time here.
I wasn't particularly surprised. Mama's always depended on the kindness of strangers, ever since she opened Marble. Looks like he's bothered by something. I never thought I'd run into you here.
I was nihiling with Tessa earlier.
Yeah, I could tell.
She said she was going to Marble, so... I got here just before you did. Look, I was really worried about her. She was about to be charged with a serious crime.
And judging by what you were talking about with her, you know something about what's going on. Let's talk to you. You called Oda here?
No, I didn't tell him to come. He just showed up on his own.
What was that thing about?
This actually works out nicely. I want to ask you something, Ota. It's about a Nile message you sent Iris. You said you wouldn't tell anyone about that thing. That you'd stay quiet no matter what. What were you talking about?
Well,
I'll tell her about the two-witter thing. I swear I'll do it.
Geez, fine. Just don't tell anyone else, okay? But before I tell you, who's that?
I'm not falling for it.
What?
At the door. Someone's standing outside.
No. Come on. That's not good. Back at Marble, 2:48 a.m. So a few hours later. When I woke up, I was lying on the sofa.
Where am I?
My head was killing me, and my memory was foggy. I felt a sudden pain in my neck. Oh, hi, Mama. It took me a few seconds before I realized it was just Mama.
It looks like you're awake now.
As Mama spoke to me, it all came rushing back. I remembered everything. So we look at everything else first. Just in case something is new. Okay. Alright, Mama, what's going on? She's polishing the dried bonito again. Alright. What time is it?
It'll be 3 o'clock soon. In the morning, of course.
Where's Ota?
Ota? The boy I asked to watch the bar?
I'd say he's too old to be called a boy, but yeah.
He was already gone when I came back. All I saw was you getting your beauty sleep on the floor.
Damn it, Ota. What are you thinking?
It appears that he took off with Iris.
What were you doing during all this?
My power was shut down due to the stun gun. I have rebooted in safe mode and am now operational.
Why didn't you wake me up?
I tried. You wouldn't budge. I thought you were passed out drunk, so I left you like that.
But I didn't have a glass in front of me, right?
So you weren't drunk?
Didn't have a single drop.
Oh, I thought you were drinking straight out of the bottle. Just like the old days.
Right.
Date, the boss is calling.
Oh, how am I gonna report this one?
Date, listen. Stay calm, but this is an emergency. Just now, the killer... Well, just watch the video. I sent the address to Iba.
Oh no.
Iris!
She's still alive, currently.
No, that's...
The criminal is streaming this live.
Iba, the source.
Identified. The Okiura Fishery Cold Storage Warehouse, Koto District.
Okiura?
Date, focus. We need to get to the site, now.
Oh my god, okay. So her eye's already gone, it seems. Unless this is all a ruse just to get me there.
What's our ETA?
Our destination is far from here. 20 minutes at the fastest.
Please, please let me make it in time. That sick bastard!
Tessa! Hold on! I'll save you!
Ota!
Stay Stay away from Tessa! Ah!
Still suspicious about that. I kept my foot to the gas this whole time. I could feel the sweat on my palms. The engine raised a high-pitched scream, but I could barely hear it. My heartbeat was pounding in my ears. It was shaking me to the core. How much time had passed? A feeling of time itself had disappeared. Eventually the car reached a long bridge, shortly after the image changed.
No, it can't be. No. Stop!
It's coming down fast.
No!
That's gotta be a fake. Hopefully.
No!
Alright. Hmm. Oh.
Ota.
Hmm. It's not good. What happened?
There you are. Finally. I was looking all over for you. It's rare to see you down like this. But it's understandable. You blame yourself for this, don't you? Beating yourself up about taking Iris to Marble. And about letting Ota get the upper hand on you.
Oda must have taken her there on purpose. This has to be a ruse.
Am I right? Shall I tell you what Investigation HQ thinks? Ota Matsushita is a criminal stalker who committed murder-suicide. Ota had a selfish love for Iris. He was under the delusion that Iris loved him too. But Iris refused Ota. So Ota decided that he and Iris should be together in the afterlife, killed her, then killed himself.
That's ridiculous. Ota would never kill Iris. And how do you explain the other two murders? Iris's left eye was hollowed out. Just like Renju and Shoko. Those three murders were definitely executed by the same person. The new Cyclops killer. There's no way that's Ota. Too many pieces don't fit. Too many contradictions, like killing Iris.
Such as?
Alright, the door. Desk. It doesn't feel good to have Lens staring at you. Alright, boss. Oda had no incentive to kill Renju.
Maybe he was thinking like this. The reason Iris and I can't be together is because her agency prohibits it. Making the president, Renju, the ultimate bad guy in his mind.
Mizuki is Ota's close friend. Do you really think Ota would kill his friend's father?
I mean, he's a psychopath, maybe, but that doesn't seem like Oda. Yeah, well, what about Shoko?
Shoko was married to Renju.
I don't think he knew that, though.
Maybe
Unless
he was
all
trying to get at
lying.
Renju by killing her.
That's a stretch. They've been divorced for years. Ota knows all about it. He wouldn't use Shoko to get to Renju.
How about the polar bear costume?
The culprit was wearing a polar bear costume, probably to hide their identity. But if murder-suicide was the plan, the costume served no purpose.
And his behavior. He appeared trying to defend Iris.
Stay away from Tessa!
Ota showed himself on the stream. If he was gonna kill Iris and then himself, why would he do that? The only reason you would show yourself like that is to prove that you weren't the culprit. Ota and the polar bear on the screen at the same time would prove that they're not the same person.
They weren't on the screen at the same time.
That behavior would be totally unnecessary if he was gonna commit suicide anyway.
Well, maybe he wasn't planning on dying at first. After he killed Iris, he realized that he couldn't live with himself.
So he lies down on the workbench and turns on the ice-cutting machine himself? I don't buy it.
There are some additional discrepancies. I analyzed the investigation report. Judging by his wound, Ota was stabbed in the side by a kitchen knife or something similar.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure?
I am.
I told the boss what Iba found.
Oh, I know that.
Well?
Ota could have stabbed himself.
But why?
Maybe he thought it would be a fatal wound, but when it didn't work, he went for the ice-cutting machine.
No, that doesn't sound like a good plan.
Then, shouldn't we have recovered the kitchen knife from the scene?
That too.
Maybe he threw it in the ocean.
Boss, come on. Ota goes out to the water, stabs himself in the gut, throws the knife over the side, then walks back to the warehouse?
Well, I wasn't being serious.
Hmm.
I didn't think Ota was the culprit from the beginning.
You're just playing devil's advocate.
I was just playing devil's advocate for HQ.
Really?
Yes, really.
Anyway, Ota didn't kill anyone, and he didn't kill himself. Here's what I think happened.
Stay away from Tessa!
Ota knew Iris was kidnapped, so he rushed onto the scene. That's when he saw the culprit wearing the polar bear costume. He tried to fight him off, but ended up being stabbed in the side. He was weakened and losing blood at the culprit's mercy. The culprit forced him into the costume, then under the ice-cutting machine. And then...
Then, who is the culprit?
We don't know.
I wish I knew.
We're up to 4 victims. But Ota was a special circumstance. He wasn't specifically targeted by the culprit.
Right. And he was the only one to not have his eye pulled out.
So let's focus on the 3 other victims. Shoko, Renju, and Iris. What connects these 3?
Connections.
I mean, they did all know each other.
If you find a connection between the victims, you find a connection to the culprit. That's the theory of investigation, right?
You think the new Cyclops killer is related to them somehow?
Maybe maybe not. But it's a good starting point.
Hmm. It wouldn't be Mizuki. Could be Hitomi, but I don't know why she would. I don't really know much about her. Mayumi is kind of not quite all there, but I don't think she's really a murdering type. And Moma wouldn't really be the type to do that as well, I don't think. I'll go through these options just to see what they say, but I think Hitomi is the most likely answer out of all these four.
Mizuki has the strongest connections with all three victims. Shoko and Renji were her parents, and she was close friends with Iris. She was good friends with Ota too. But that's why I could never believe Mizuki would kill all four of them. Thinking of her as a suspect is ridiculous.
Yeah. Mayumi.
Mayumi had motive for killing Iris and Renju. Mayumi hated Iris, and she didn't think well of Lemnis Gate either. And since Renju is the president... Anyway, the weak point is Renju's ex-wife, Shoko. I can't imagine why Mayumi would kill her. And above all else, she would never harm her only son, let alone kill him.
Yeah. Moma was... This seems too personal for Moma's stuff.
Renju and Shoko were connected to the Kumakuras. But there's no connection to Iris.
It wouldn't be the congressman.
Renju, Shoko, and So. There is a connection between Renju and Shoko through the Kumakuras. But again, I can't see any clear link to Iris.
Yeah. It's not me, but...
I know Renju and Shoko, and I'm connected to Iris, but I have an alibi. Aside from Shoko, there's no way I could have killed any of them. No. Now that I think about it, Shoko too. I don't remember killing her. My memories from 6 years ago are missing, but I still have my memory of recent events. And if I start doubting myself now...
Date, I can say without a doubt that there is zero possibility you are the new Cyclops killer. I have been working with you for years. I know better than anyone that you are innocent.
It's gotta be Hitomi out of these options.
Hitomi and Renju are definitely linked. They were high school classmates, and she did say that she met Shoko twice. But I can't imagine she would kill Iris in such a gruesome way. No matter what the circumstances were, it seems impossible to me.
It could be
I thought it over, boss.
someone else we don't know about.
Of the people I know, I can't peg any of them as the murderer.
And no leads to pursue?
No.
Then there's only one thing you can do. Continue your investigation. Do whatever it takes to get the culprit, to get justice for the victims.
You're right. Got it, boss.
It's a lot of stuff. Okay. Yeah, let's go back to the warehouse and investigate the crime scene itself. I stepped into the cold storage warehouse. The air conditioning wasn't running, but it was still cold. The temperature hadn't raised much at all. The cold air sunk into my skin. The center of my body was burning hot. Any progress on the investigation?
I checked this place point by point, but didn't find nothing.
What about you, Kigami? Any clues?
No, nothing so far.
He's doing his duties as usual. Cardboard box, nothing in it. Shelf empty.
There are only a few items on the shelf.
Is this warehouse not in use?
Okay, so that right there is where it all went down. This must be where Ota got stabbed, maybe?
This forklift is old. It does not appear to be functional. It has not been moved in some time.
Okay, this is where the stream was from. A hook is hanging from the ceiling crane. I'm not sure if there's any relevance, but there was a hook in Iris's Somnium as well. Let's look at this blood stain. This is Ota's blood. Yeah.
A video camera and laptop. This is what the criminal used to stream. All of these items have been bought from pawn shops and thrift stores. It would be difficult to determine a suspect from them. I have logged into the Wi-Fi in this warehouse. Okiura Fishery Co., Ltd. is listed as the owner. However, I found the password written directly on the router. Anyone who saw it could have used it.
Okay.
I have done some research. As the name suggests, the company is owned by the Okiuras, the same Okiuras we know. Renju's father created the company.
Another connection to Renju.
No, actually. Currently, Okiura Fishery has nothing to do with Renju. The company has been managed by office representatives for the past 17 years after Renju's father died. Renju holds no shares and is not involved in the management. In short, Renju did not inherit the company from his father, and it was instead given to other persons.
But it can't be a coincidence.
It certainly is suspicious.
Video camera and laptop used for the stream. Alright, let's look at the forklift again. Tire and floor covered with a layer of ice. Alright, anything else before we investigate? Okay, nothing there. Evidence marker. Alright, let's look at the blood stain. Iris and Ota's blood.
Right here. Iris and Ota were...
I am sure you are already aware of Ota's time of death.
just before I arrived. About 3:30 in the morning.
And the cause of death.
Right, about that. Ota had a stab wound from a kitchen knife in his side.
Correct.
What was the exact cause of death? Was it the knife wound, or...?
I cannot determine that. I can conclude that the knife wound was at least close to being fatal. Even if Ota was still alive on the workbench, he was certainly on the verge of death. If he weren't already extremely weak, we would expect to see more signs of struggle.
If we could find the knife, I'm wondering if, just by some random chance, it could be Mayumi's knife that Ota gave her, which would be a lead. That would be an interesting piece of evidence. Iris and Ota were sliced in two by this ice cutting machine. Iris and Ota.
Iris's estimated time of death and cause of death have been confirmed. The video was not a recording. It was a live stream, filmed in real time.
So I guess this wasn't a ruse.
Which means Iris's time of death is 3:20 a.m.
Unless it still is. And they're extremely elaborate about faking it.
Iris also had her left eye removed.
Yeah.
And like Renju and Shoko, Iris's left eyeball has not been recovered.
Well, maybe Ota was trying to help Iris, jumping at the criminal. That led to a scuffle, and Oda ended up with a knife wound in his side. He lost all power to fight back. He was forcibly put inside the costume, and finally cut open by the ice-cutting machine.
But why? Why did the culprit put the costume on Ota?
Unknown. Date, we should get moving. Officers from the local jurisdiction are checking the warehouse thoroughly. We will not find anything of importance here.
Yeah, you're right.
You can ask CSI to inform you if they find anything.
All right.
I'm heading out. Let me know if you find anything. Oh. Okay, we're not going back to the map right now. When I left the warehouse, I saw Pewter. What is he doing here? He walked up to me while I was trying to work it out.
Date, I have to talk to you about something.
Huh?
About the original Cyclops serial killings.
Why this all of a sudden?
Because I want you to solve this case, Mr. Date. I want you to find who did this and bring them to justice. So, if I can help you, even a little...
Why didn't you say anything at Abyss?
The boss was there. I couldn't speak openly in front of her. So I decided to meet you here.
All right. Let's hear it.
Earlier, I told you that I was completely certain the original Cyclops killer couldn't have committed these crimes. I am absolutely certain the original Cyclops killer could not have committed these crimes. Let me explain why. I'll start by telling you the identity of the Cyclops killer, although it's more accurate to say killers.
More than one?
In the first series of killings, the culprit had an accomplice. One of them was born a murderous psychopath. The other is Rohan Kumakura, the previous chairman of the Kumakuras.
I did say he died 6 years ago.
They each had a role to play. The murderer committed the homicide, and Rohan removed the eyeball.
He looks grimly serious. Who is the murderous psychopath?
He was born with a brain dysfunction.
I'm pretty sure I already know the answer to this, but let's just hear it from him.
Due to damage to the posterior pituitary gland, he was unable to properly secrete oxytocin.
Oxytocin is a peptide hormone linked to feelings of love, affection, and trust. It is colloquially referred to as the love hormone. It causes a tranquilizing effect which improves mood and relieves stress. It is normally secreted when the body makes contact with an object of affection, such as an embrace or caress.
I'm sure you know what this implies, but...
They couldn't feel love or affection.
He was unable to feel love in the way that we do. However, he was able to experience a substitute. His brain was wired in such a way that allowed him to feel satisfaction through other means. Due to the unique idiosyncrasies of his brain, he was able to release large amounts of dopamine and endorphins by performing a certain action.
What was it?
Murder.
Dopamine is a hormone linked to the reward system of the brain. The pleasant feeling attained through accomplishment is dopamine. Endorphins are a kind of brain narcotic. They dull pain and create a feeling of happiness.
He got pleasure from killing people?
It's slightly more complicated than that. Killing people was the only way he could get pleasure. He was 12 when he took his first life.
12?
that enlightened him to the pleasure of murder, which he would do again and again.
Jeez. About Rohan.
18 years ago, Rohan took a woman's eye. She was already dead. He put his finger into her eye socket and gouged it out. The reason why was simple. He was fascinated by women's eyes. Their beauty stimulated his greed and his desire to possess them. He needed to have them, to make them his own. Driven by this instinctive impulse, he took the woman's eye. From then on, he acquired a grotesque obsession with the eyes of dead women. He was very particular about his need that the eye belonged to a deceased woman. But even being the head of a Yakuza gang, there weren't too many opportunities for him to indulge. His deepest, darkest desire went unfulfilled for years. However, he soon met his ideal partner, the aforementioned psychopath. The Cyclops killer would commit the murder, and Rohan would take the eye. Thus, a mutually beneficial relationship was established. This was the origin of the Cyclops serial killings. At about the same time, you were assigned to Abyss.
How did you get classified?
That, I don't know.
The details of the original Cyclops serial killings case have become nebulous over time. Even the official investigation material contains nothing of value. I am unable to draw any conclusions from them.
You really have no idea?
If I did, I would tell you.
Summarize for me.
The original Cyclops killer had an accomplice,
There were 2 Cyclops killers.
and one of them was the former chairman of the Kumakuras, Rohan Kumakura.
Rohan committed suicide by jumping to his death 1 year ago.
Oh, right. He didn't and died 6 years ago. But Momo took over 6 years ago.
That means... Pewter, tell me this. One of the original killers is dead, I know that. But that means one remains. Who is he?
After his 4th murder, he was arrested by the police. They actually picked him up on other charges. But, in any case, he is currently serving a life sentence in Fuchu prison.
Fuchu prison?
Yes.
What's his name?
In prison, he doesn't have a name. He is simply called Number 89.
Oh. Huh. Number 89 was the one that gave us the tip about the killer killing again before we found Renju.
Number 89.
I know who killed Shogun Adami.
Mm-hmm.
So, now you know why I said that. That the original Cyclops killer couldn't have committed these crimes. Because one is dead, and the other is behind bars.
So what's going on with Date then?
Neither of them had the opportunity.
Interesting. Let's go to the diner and see if Mayumi still has her knife. The place was silent. It was so quiet I felt like I could hear the floating dust. I stepped inside. I thought it was empty, but I saw a shadow in the corner of my eye. It was Mayumi. It was like watching a decaying old tree cling pathetically to the earth. Let's talk to her. She's looking at photographs in her hand. I'm sorry to interrupt. Do you want to talk about it? About Oda.
This is your fault. I heard from the police. Because you didn't take care of Iris, my boy Ota got involved.
Date, I looked into the investigation report. Mayumi confirmed Ota's body early this morning.
I see.
I'm sorry. I want to be alone right now. Did you not hear me? I said leave!
Date, let's go. She is in no state to talk.
Yeah, you're right.
She does seem extremely distraught. I think it'd be hard for someone, if she would have killed him, to act like that. I'm not ruling it out, but I mean, I'm sure there's better leads. Okay, I could go back home, I could go to Marble, I could go back to Iris's house. Let's check out my home. Let's see if there's anything else there. Why would there be anything here? Oh, there's Mizuki. She looked like a small animal frightened by a predator. Adore rabbit. Adore rabbit, okay. It's a stuffed rabbit. I gave it to Mizuki on her birthday. Large speakers. Audio equipment. Bed. It's Mizuki's bed. I just realized we haven't actually seen the inside of Date's apartment yet. Mine Mizuki's clothes. Iron pipe. Mizuki's favorite metal pipe. Backpack. Alright, how you doing, Mizuki? She's staring at the floor. About Iris. About Oda? Yeah. Well, what about the warehouse?
Mizuki must know about Iris and Ota.
Of course. The news was distributed heavily across the internet. Not just in Japan, but worldwide. 3 days ago, Mizuki discovered her mother's body. 2 days ago, her father's. This morning, 2 of her best friends.
Jeez.
It is completely understandable that she is at her mental limit.
She's got to be related to this in some way. Every single of the victims so far has been close to her.
Can I be left alone for a while?
Yeah, of course.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Can't stay by her side forever.
Aiba, contact Abyss. See if they can get Mizuki a good counselor.
Understood.
I've stayed with her for a little while, but we didn't speak. Having nothing more to say, I left. Alright. Let's go to this Hagen residence and talk to Hitomi. When I visited, I found Hitomi with a hollow look in her eyes. She let me in and asked me to sit on the sofa. I agreed and sat down. After that, I couldn't say a single word. The heavy silence will weigh on both of us. I'd forgotten about her arm. I don't think she would have done that because in the stream, the killer used their right arm to pull the lever. But I don't know if her right arm works very well.
In the language of flowers, the iris means good news and hope. When I saw the flowers this morning, I just knew something good would happen.
Iris.
She made us tea. Alright, you tell me. About Iris.
Iris was my everything. We always went everywhere together. Whether it was buying clothes, or going to the movies, or taking a walk, or going shopping at the supermarket. When she was young, she would just hold one of my fingers. Her hand was too small to hold mine. Then it was 2, then 3. And finally she could hold my hand. But eventually, she left my hands altogether. She started crossing her arms, being independent, even though she needed constant attention growing up. Her memories are a part of this room. And always will be. When she was a baby, she fell off that sofa and cried and cried. One day she tore up her picture book all over the floor here. Another time she drew with crayons all over the window. She painted my portrait on Mother's Day. Scratches on the floor, chipped plates, burn marks on the table, stains on the cushions. Everything you see. It all holds a memory of her. But why?
About Oda?
Oda was one of my students. I taught him in elementary school. I heard it from the police. Oda tried to help Iris and ended up... I don't know what to say. I have no words.
She's hiding her sorrow deep in her heart. She's gentle but strong. Can you think of any information?
Hitomi, my entire focus is on this case. Is there anything at all you can tell me?
I don't know if this is important, but
No, please, tell me.
I may have told you this already. I met Renju's wife Shoko twice before. The first time at the wedding. The second time a month ago. That second time was in the waiting room of the prison.
Prison?
There's an acquaintance of mine from when we were younger. I visit them a few times a year. And by coincidence, I saw Shoko. I don't think she noticed me, but I recognized her as Renju's wife right away. She was there for the same reason I was, to visit one of the inmates.
Do you know who?
No, I don't. We didn't talk.
Which prison?
Fuchu Prison, in Tokyo.
Fuchu.
Prison?
Okay, that's something.
I'm sorry to have bothered you. I'll be going now.
I don't know what to do. Thinking about her. Dante, please, you have to catch them. Please. Please.
I will. Trust me.
Alright, let's head to Marble. Why did Oda tase me? If he hadn't, they wouldn't have gone anywhere and he wouldn't have died.
Are you okay, honey?
Huh?
About last night. Well, at 3 in the morning, anyway.
You know about it?
It's on every channel. You have the face of a ghost. Do you want a glass?
I don't need a drink. I need information. Do you have anything?
Well, let's see. I do have... I suppose you could call it intuition.
Tell me.
Pausing, but try bringing this still. Information about the incident?
The Kumakuras are involved in this case. Remember what I told you before? That there's a relationship between Ren and the Kumakuras?
Right.
Shoko also has a relationship with them.
Okay.
You know about her dealings with the Kumakuras, right?
So basically, 2 of the victims are linked to the Kumakuras. That must mean they're involved somehow, right?
Not 2, 3.
Iris or Oda was involved as well?
3? Iris?
No, not that one. The boy. He came here last night.
Right.
Ota?
Yes, from Matsushita Diner. He's linked to the Kumakuras as well.
How so?
Have you heard the rumor?
You told me a similar story to Aiba's about Sejima in the Kamasaki district. The basic idea is this. 8 years ago, Sos sold his land in the Kamasaki district for 30 billion yen, and half a year later an explosion caused the land prices to drop drastically. bought the land, back the land for 1 billion. Almost like he knew beforehand that the accident would happen. Did So blow it up or conspire to blow it up? That wouldn't make sense. So wouldn't gain anything from that. You end up with 29 billion in cash and then 1 billion in land. It's a net zero. There's more to the story.
The Kumakuras own a handful of real estate companies. They of course look legit, but they're Yakuza fronts. I'll call those real estate companies the KE to keep it simple for you. The KE followed in So's footsteps. They bought up land in Kawasaki. Now, back to So. Have you heard of the plans for the casino in Kawasaki? So was the one who came up with it.
I was born and raised in Kawasaki. I remember the landscape of my childhood, and I loved it dearly. But look at Kawasaki now. When I see images of the destruction on television, my heart aches like it's being chopped to pieces. But I promise you, I will revive the Kawasaki district at any cost. Casino Town Kawasaki will give new life to the city.
After that, So moved fast. He submitted the bills he needed to the National Assembly after drumming up support in the right places. The bills passed, and it became an official government initiative.
Decontamination efforts therefore increased at a rapid pace in the Kawasaki district.
Okay.
At the moment, the area is still considered off-limits. However, the air in Kawasaki is currently purified to such an extent that it has no negative effect on the human body.
If the plan goes smoothly, land prices in Kawasaki are going to skyrocket.
And then he can sell his land back for more money.
And all that land is owned by the KE. And by So himself. The land he bought back for 1 billion will be worth 10 times that soon.
He's involved in some shady business.
This is just another rumor, but the chemical plant exploding was no accident. It was done intentionally.
By So and the Kumakuras, you mean?
But there's no hard evidence of that. It's just gossip.
What about Oda?
What were we talking about again?
Ota and the Kumakuras.
Oh, right. You know how Matsushita Diner is close to the Kawasaki district? The chemical plant explosion made times hard. Foot traffic went down, sales declined. No wonder it closed down. Ota must hold a grudge. Someone caused that explosion. And if it was intentional, oh, he'd hate them even more. That's how I link Ota to the Kumakuras.
Okay, so it's not a direct link, but it could have an effect. Alright, thanks for the information.
Thank you, Mama. I don't know if what you told me will lead to anything, but...
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to waste your time.
No, it was very helpful.
I'm glad I can help, even if it's just a little.
Well then, I'll be seeing you.
Come back anytime.
Alright, let's head out to somewhere else now. Back to the headquarters.